Welcome to our main video, part 1, titled Secured Overnight Financing Rate and OIS Spread. In 2007, when I started my treasury career, I used to believe that Federal Reserve is the most intelligent agency in the world, rather on planet. But now I'm openly saying every day on Twitter, Facebook, I have made several tweets to Biden, Federal Reserve, Powell, Janet Yellen, this lady Kamala Harris and all, that Federal Reserve is the most paid and corrupt organization we have in the world. But having said that, the highest stupidity is they have zero knowledge also. One side is the corruption, which has recently handled in the Federal Reserve. Two governors resigned, 2008 financial crisis, 2012 financial crisis, and history's witness. One side is corruption. Other side is the technical knowledge. That's more important, because one can be corrupt, just like Securities and Exchange Commission current chairman is ex Goldman Sachs. He was the head of CFTC, the enforcement body. So what do you expect from him? Would he be prosecuted any banks? No, not at all. It's simply a conflict of interest. But when you read such kind of manuals provided by the forum called Federal Reserve, at least you believe that people have some form of knowledge. But when you start reading it, you feel like people have highest idiocy in the world. Highest idiocy in the world. Now let me first go to page number 2. We have thousands of benchmarks in the world, thousands of benchmarks. I can't cover all benchmark in a 15-minute video, that's for sure. But now I have started my coverage on SOFR. I would be covering this in detail, probably more RFRs on our YouTube channel. But do you know, guys, all benchmark, as far as their pricing methodologies are concerned, they are having one methodology. So let's take an example of FRA, forward rate agreement. They have one pricing methodology, rather one valuation methodology. Let's talk about caps, floors, collars, ranged collars, range forward, seagull, straddle, butterfly spread. Let's talk about swaptions. Let's talk about non-deliverable forward, non-deliverable OIS. They have one pricing methodology. So today we have around 24 non-deliverable currencies. 24. And out of 24 non-deliverable currencies, as we speak, the pricing methodology is intact. Whether you go for Chinese yuan, you go for Pakistani rupee, you go for, I would say Indonesian rupiah, you go for Malaysian ringgit, or you go for Vietnamese dong, or you go for African set of non-deliverable. They are intact, completely intact. Yeah, of course, the only thing that matters is the volatility. Just like Indonesian rupiah having huge swings compared to Chinese yuan, while Pakistani rupee is highly depreciated as compared to Chinese yuan. So that volatility play its role. But pricing methodologies is intact. The only thing that differs or only thing that is subject to valuation is the implied curves. So Goldman have their own implied NDF curves, JP have their own implied NDF curves, Citi have their own implied NDF curves. So everyone have their own implied NDF curves. So if you are on the buyer side or in the interbank market, or if you are on the seller side in the interbank market, you need to decide whose implied curve is better. Because don't expect as you go longer in the tenor, the rate you are getting on the Reuters or Bloomberg, you get that rate. It would never happen. Let it be honest. It would never happen. You never get that rate, which is also a fact. So the most important thing about a benchmark, rather a financial benchmark, let it be honest, is the pricing methodologies. And the pricing methodologies is completely intact. That's the more important thing, which we need to agree. But when we talk about the stupidities, and especially we talk about the stupidities of the Federal Reserve, then it is endless. Endless, because you keep writing a book, the stupidities will never end. So page number 2. Users need to determine the period of time over which daily SOFR, secured overnight financing rate, are observed and averaged. An in advance structure would reference an average of SOFR observed before the current period begins advance, while in arrear structure would reference an average of SOFR over the current interest period. Now, what the hell is that? What the hell is that? SOFR is a secured benchmark, which means that it is secured as compared to LIBOR, which was insecure or unsecured. Now, what the hell is you are talking that advanced structure or the arrear structure? Did LIBOR was having this? Did LIBOR was having this? Then why did you incorporate this in SOFR? Can anyone ask this question from Federal Reserve? And guys, do you know the more stupidity which Federal Reserve did? Let me go to page number 6. You can see SOFR averages can either be in advance or in arrears. Except Einstein, no one can agree that why do we need advance or arrears. Anyways, SOFR averages can be used either in advance or in arrears, depending on whether the averages are applied at the start or end of an interest period. Are we talking about annuity? Because annuities are like this. I'm sure that 99% people who watching this video, they themselves never heard about a concept called annuity. So forget discussing this. But they are more likely to be used in advance. What the hell? Who are you to tell me they are more likely to be used in advance? Why don't you have one methodology? The stupidity is coming. They are calculated on the ISTA compound SOFR formula, which is not correct 100%. I am challenging ISTA and I would be making a separate video in that regards. Please be rest assured. ISTA SOFR formula. ISTA also published the fallback language, which is available on their website, which is also not correct, by the way, which is also not correct. Although the calculations for averages may start on the weekend on the holiday in order to ensure that they covered on a fixed number of days, and in respect they differ from the standard convention in the SOFR OIS market, which always start and stop on a business day. Why are we comparing SOFR with OIS? Why are we comparing with SOFR with OIS? OIS is an IR benchmark, which means OIS means hedging of local currency asset in local country and in local market. So hedging of local currency asset in local country and local market. But SOFR is not like that. See you in the part second, where I would be covering this in detail. Part second.